Hello everyone and welcome to J&J Do Death. I'm Gin3x and today I'll be explaining the concept of magic numbers in programming. A magic number in programming is a constant number placed in code without explanation. It looks like just a number while having a deeper meaning, such as date, time, price or something else. The reason why magic numbers are something that should not be left in code is because while you might know what that number stands for now, in the future, when you or someone else reads that code, the meaning of the number will not be known, and you have to figure it out from the context yourself. Let us look at an example to explain this more easily. On the screen, you will see the same code in three different languages: JavaScript, Python and Rust. In the first example, we have a simple function that checks whether the provided elapsed time variable exceeds the number 600. I would like to ask you, what does that number mean? Does it represent milliseconds, seconds, or maybe minutes? While the average programmer would be able to understand after digging around the code a bit, it is something you have to figure out by looking at the code. Unnecessary thinking. Let's look at the example below. As you can see, we have replaced the number previously used with a variable. Now you can easily figure out what exactly elapsed time is checked against, without having to mentally figure it out. While this practice requires more code to be written, it makes it more readable, usually a good trade-off. Small examples often cannot represent the importance of such changes. However, I can assure you that these small changes make an impact over time, especially in big projects. Let's look at another example, this time a bit more complex. Now, what do we have here? From inspecting the code, we can see that we're given a grid to the array. By looking a bit closer, we can see that if a row has more than 7 entries, it is shortened to 7. In a similar way, if an element in a row itself has a value larger than 24, it is replaced by 24. So far, so good. But what does that mean? What does 7 mean? What does 24 mean? Here's where replacing magic numbers can come in handy. Aha! It appears that we check whether our grid row has more than 7 days, the amount in a week. If so, we make sure we remain within the limit. Next, 24 appears to be hours in a day, meaning that we replace incorrectly filled days. We should also note that magic strings exist as well. They are a bit harder to detect, but are still present in our code. Here is an example of such one. In this example, we check whether the provided username is equal to Josh, and if so, we return true. Otherwise, we return false. But the meaning behind Josh is not known. What we know is that he is someone with some permissions. Let's examine the example, but with its magic string replaced. Would you look at that? Now we can immediately say that Josh is actually a server administrator. Security issues of this code aside, we can see how replacing magic numbers with variables make it much easier to figure out the reason they're there. As with every newly learned concept, it is important to put it into practice. Next time you're reviewing your code or writing something new, make sure to keep an eye out for magic numbers in your code and replace it with something meaningful. These examples might look rather insignificant, but I can assure you from experience, as your project grows, you will appreciate having replaced your magic numbers. Please also note that the term magic numbers appears in some other situations with different meaning, such as magic numbers at the start of a file. This has been an explanation of magic numbers. If you enjoyed and want to see more content from us, make sure to leave a like and subscribe.